Do you need to go abroad to learn Spanish? No, you don't. You do, however, have to dedicate time to learning at home. And that includes not just reading, writing, speaking, but also developing your listening skills. So it's important to find meaningful audio content in Spanish to improve your comprehension. To help you find the content you need, I'm going to give you 8 podcasts that are perfect for intermediate students. But first, why are podcasts so good for your listening skills? Well, for starters, you can take your phone or tablet with you anywhere. In this day and age, it's really hard to find an excuse not to listen to Spanish. You can do it while you're commuting to work in the morning or while waiting for an important appointment. It's convenient and easy. Another great thing about podcasts is being able to listen to native speakers. You'll improve your listening skills by hearing Spanish spoken at a natural speed. It's also helpful to get adjusted to different accents. Also, interestingly, a lot of podcasts are geared towards Spanish language learning designed for intermediate students. This is quite different from watching movies or listening to music in Spanish, both of which are great ways to get your ear in tune with the language, but obviously they're not made for you, they're made for native Spanish speakers. So here are a list of 8 intermediate level podcasts guaranteed to improve your listening skills. Number 1, Notes in Spanish. This is a popular podcast for people of all levels, including intermediate learners. It's hosted by Ben from the UK and Marina from Spain. This one is especially good if you want to learn Spanish from Spain, obviously. You'll also learn real Spanish not found in a textbook through interesting conversational topics. It's great for intermediate learners and their dialogue is fun, which is probably what makes it so popular. Number 2, Radio Ambulante. Another great podcast for intermediate to advanced learners is this one, Radio Ambulante. This podcast is like a radio show. It has lots of stories in Spanish covering a wide range of topics, which makes it a really interesting podcast. It's more of a challenge, but it will definitely help intermediate learners gain confidence with their comprehension skills. Full transcripts are also available for every episode, which is fantastic. Number 3, Spanish Obsessed. This is a podcast geared to Spanish students of all levels. And for intermediate learners, there are 26 audio lessons, all with transcripts and notes, which is 6 hours of listening practice. It's a really comprehensive podcast aimed at language learning. Your hosts are Rob and Liz, and they talk about different topics in a way that's natural and easy to understand, perfect for you as an intermediate student. Number 4, Spanish Pod101. This is a great resource for students of all levels. You get natural dialogue followed by an English discussion and breakdown of important grammar points. So it's more for learning, I guess, than for listening, but still there's a bit of listening practice in there. If you pay for the subscription, you get a much larger selection of episodes still. Otherwise, the weekly lessons are excellent. Just be sure to get them before they get archived and they only become available to subscribers. The intermediate levels are a nice choice for a combination of dialogue and grammar tips. Number 5, Audiria. The Audiria podcast is a great free resource for students of all levels. For intermediate students, it's great because you can actually pick your level to make sure the content really suits your needs. Every podcast also has related activities and exercises to check your understanding. Although the website doesn't look like much, don't judge a book by its cover, as they say. It's an excellent podcast for intermediate learners. Number 6, Coffee Break Spanish. From one of the leading podcast developers for learning languages, Coffee Break Spanish is aimed at beginner, intermediate, and also advanced students. So check it out if you sort of landed at the intermediate level and you're ready for more. Intermediate level episodes dig deeper into grammar and the different topics to get you gaining confidence. Each episode is just the right length to fit into your coffee break, as the name suggests, so no more excuses. You do have time to take your intermediate skills to the next level. Number 7, Weekly News in Slow Spanish. Now, this podcast is perfect if you're keen on catching up on your weekly news in Spanish, but you find the actual Spanish language news networks a little bit overwhelming. You get news bulletins that are read in a tone and speed that is considerably less than native level Spanish. You can also choose whether you want content spoken in Spanish or Latin American accents, which is a nice choice to have. Now, it is debatable whether it is a good idea for your listening skills to listen to Spanish that is spoken at a slower speed. But nevertheless, this podcast is very, very popular, and if you like news and current affairs and want a podcast that's geared to intermediate level, then Weekly News in Slow Spanish is a great option. Last but not least, number 8, the Fluent Spanish Academy. So this one isn't actually a podcast, so we're kind of sneaking it in here at the end, but it is a similar concept. As part of the many resources inside the Academy, we have audio lessons that are released every week that you can take with you on the go, just like all of the other podcasts that you've seen here in this video. The best part about the Fluent Spanish Academy is that we target specifically intermediate learners who are stuck at that plateau, the point where you've been studying, making lots of progress and doing well, but suddenly you hit the intermediate plateau and your progress grinds to a halt, sometimes for months or years on end. In the weekly audio lessons in the Academy, we focus specifically on natural spoken dialogues, so you get to hear Spanish spoken the way that people actually do on the street all around the Spanish-speaking world. So, if you like these YouTube videos, then definitely check out what we have inside the Academy by clicking on the link in the description box below. I'd love to see how you progress with your Spanish. Nos vemos pronto. Would you like to learn more about Spanish-speaking culture and traveling around the Spanish-speaking world? If so, we've got more videos for you right here. Subscribe to the channel for more just like this, y nos vemos en el próximo.